Welcome to the Theatre of Dreams, Darcy Street, South Hobart, with a big chance to take a ginormous step towards the title today after Devonport's slip up yesterday. They can move 7 points clear at the top, and that would surely be too much of a lead to be reined in. Standing in their way are Clarence United, a side they've beaten twice from 2 beatings this year. They look to make it a clean sweep today, and really could just about sew up the title if they do so. Joining me to talk our way through this one on what could well be Coronation Day for South Hobart is Paul Hunt and Jake Morgan, who's just chomping at the bit.
I've brought my wrapping paper today, left over from Christmas, because I'm expecting him to pretty much wrap up the title here today, South Hobart. Huge result for them yesterday, with Devonport dropping 3 points through a late John Dooku goal to the Zebras. So hugely important game for South Hobart to wrap it up after disappointment in the Lacquer Cup.
And on my left, we've got Paul Hunt. Funty, what are you expecting from this one?
Well, look, I'm going to keep it diplomatic for the pre-game. I'm expecting a convincing South Hobart win. Clarence, they're looking a lot better in the last few weeks since I last saw them live in person, but South Hobart have just been in phenomenal form, and this back half of the season they have been absolutely on fire. So look, I think Clarence will put in a good effort today, but I'm expecting South Hobart's strikers, especially Morton, Turner, Hamlet, all to put in a fine shift today.
Yeah, 9 consecutive victories for South Hobart, and you mentioned Jack Turner. He's now scored in 7 consecutive games. He came in against Zebras, made his debut there. Didn't score on that one, of course. That was the turning point for this South Hobart season, really, though. They came back late, won that one 3-2, have not looked back since, and Turner has scored every game since. I think he'd break the record today if he can make it 8 in a row. So that'll be something to watch out for. I don't think there'll be a shortage of goals. Jack Turner, of course, got amongst them the last time they played Clarence. That was at Wentworth Park. We'll have a look at some vision from that one. It was a pretty comfortable victory for South Hobart on that particular occasion. They were too quick. They were too sharp in the final third for South. As we have a look at the highlights from that night, it was a rather cold affair at Wentworth.
I'll say another Saturday night match at the Junction.
I could see myself rugged up there, looking very similar today in the stand. It was bloody cold, I tell you what, gentlemen. But not the warmest of days today either, but not quite as brisk as that evening as we see some early action from this one. It was really, I think Clarence showed good signs, but defensively just couldn't keep out the South Hobart side. Ben Hamlet getting them underway with the goal there, sneaking in alongside his old teammate Matty Lewis and letting him know all about it too before he made it 2-0 moments later. And really from that point on, they didn't look like getting near them, Clarence. It was 2-0 early, Morton then making it 3-0. That was after about half an hour, and it was well and truly game over there. And Kobe Kemp played on the right wing on that evening.
He can play anywhere, can't he?
I expect he'll be back into midfield today, but that's purely because Darcy Hall has since arrived on the scene, so you'd imagine he'll be playing on the right, Walter on the left with Hamlet middle. We'll get to the teams shortly, but you can see from these highlights packages, boys, it was a very one-sided affair.
It's all down one end. I mean, Clarence, I guess the pattern of their players, they've usually held out pretty well for the first half hour of each half, but it's the last 15 minutes of each half, especially in this game as well in the first, and then I've seen it in a few other games of theirs this season. They do just tend to fade away, so we'll see if, pardon me, that happens here again, as it's probably should have been a goal there from Kobe Kemp as I look at the highlights.
I can see tragedy out on the pitch, boys, because Albie still has the tracksuit jumper on, and it doesn't look like he's going to be starting today. So South Hobart not willing to throw the forward press that works straight out the window and change to a target man system on the cusp of a title, which is very disappointing to me, but shows why Ken Morton is a coach and I'm a commentator.
We could tell we missed you last match here at South Hobart.
Oh, you would have done.
75 minutes without an Albie watch mention.
Oh.
And we've, 6 minutes into preview and we've already got one.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, I'm on Albie watch, but I'm on O'Dane watch today. I think he's an added dimension that Clarence have got they didn't have on this particular night. He's really added something up top for them the past couple of weeks. He's a skillful player. He's physically just an absolute powerhouse. He'll keep the defence on their toes. and I think could be a very important player for Clarence today. Up top, leading the lines as we have a look there at South Hobart, wrapping up that 5-0 victory at Wentworth Park, and I think they'd be just about odds on to do the same here today at Darcy Street. And we'll take a look at the teams for the clash, starting with the hosts, South Hobart, and no surprises there. The only real
Jake's
turn
in
up
tears to the right of us.
Is the lack of Liam Quayle, who's still out injured. Connor Schmidt will continue in his fullback role, but
what a terrible replacement there, boys.
A pretty set starting 11, and yes, as you mentioned, not too bad. There's
just irony there for the viewers. Connor Schmidt is a marvellous fullback and probably the best backup in the league, I dare say.
Interestingly, one war change too. I can see Kobe Kemp certainly not in the playing kit. He'll play no part today. Luke Farrell, the Frenchman, has come in, and he'll presumably play that spot just in front of the back four of Brown, Ludford, Schmidt and Adam Gorry, who was absolutely scintillating last week. 2 assists, an absolute tour de force. Down the right was Adam Gorry. Kieran Brown will be net behind them. Jack Turner and Nick Morton, the two in midfield with Luke Farrell. Then that front three, which is just causes all sorts of problems of Hamlet, Hall and Walter. It's a pretty tidy lineup. Cass Kemp is on the pine, but I'm not sure he's kitted out to play any part today, looking at him.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, otherwise he's trying to keep as warm as possible.
Well, it's possible. He's
a change in
rather
keeper
cold
as well.
And,
yeah, change of keeper as well, and we've got the cult hero and Albie Watch on the bench. Mark Kerr on the bench.
So it looks like Kim Brown hasn't recovered from that knock he copped from Wadzawa last week. So the big monkey steps onto the pine
Disappointed
today.
He's not starting.
Well, I think that would be a curious choice when you've got James Wilson as your backup. Moving on to the Clarence lineup to take on South Hobart today. And Paul Brenner, I think we'll find there's an M in there somewhere. Paul Bremner will probably play in midfield today, I suspect. He's a very versatile player. He's led the line at times, but more than capable in a number of positions, as is that man O'Dane DeMar, we talked about before. He'll probably play up top. Kobe Flynn has been operating in midfield for them. He's come into the team midway through the year. And Henry Lush, another one who's coming late. Lushy,
absolute lush player. He's an absolute superstar too, and it's good to see him get an opportunity in the ones.
Yeah, the luscious man will probably play a fullback position. Nick Naden has come into some absolutely storming form of late. I think that's coincided with DeMar into the team. It's just freed him up a little bit. Doesn't have to carry the load all on his own up top. He's been in very good touch, and he'll need to have a big impact down the wing today. It'll be a tough matchup for him, probably against Adam Gorry though. John O'Neill could play centre-back or central midfield. Looking at that list, I think we might see him in defence today in the absence of the likes of Lewis and Grant Malcolm there. Paul Palmer. There's just kind of a lot of these midfield / defenders in this team who could play centre-back or centre-mid, Clarence. There's a team chock full of them. Jeremy Price, you'd expect at fullback. Sam Randall. He'll play wide on the left either as a fullback or as a winger. Jake Stewart, we know, will be up top. I think he, DeMar and certainly Naden, the three can lock in up top. And Jason Voss has come in between the sticks in recent weeks, and I think he might be in for a busy afternoon. On the bench, Bug, Burgess, Lang, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Moynihan we'll go with. But Romolo could be an interesting one if he comes on, but a new name on the bench today for Clarence. And those are the teams doing battle on what is a massive day here at Darcy Street. South Hobart looking to go 7 points clear on top. It would be an almost unassailable advantage with 5 weeks to go, and they will be expected to do just that. Your tips for this one, gentlemen?
Well, I'm just trying to decide. I might go 7-0 South Hobart.
You're a cruel man, Funty. I think I don't think South Hobart will be pushing too hard for a demolition job here today. I think it'll be a comfortable 3-0 victory to them.
Hey, I'm just being realistic.
I'll tell you what, the wind is going to be a factor too, gentlemen. It is howling here today.
It is destroying our microphones too, so don't be surprised if you're just getting the old VHS TV going on at home, just the fuzz for the entire game, so probably preferable than hearing our yammerings. But yep, definitely a factor here today, and it is certainly going to favour this Clarence side in the first half, which could be
definitely
very, very useful for us if we're expecting to get a good game out of this, because even as a South Hobart supporter, I almost dare say I wouldn't mind seeing Clarence get an early one in this game and try and put a bit of pressure on them.
I think the contest would definitely be better for it.
I think so.
That were to happen. They will come into this one as massive outsiders, and they've certainly got some importance on this one with Launceston City getting up in the derby yesterday evening. They've now been demoted to a bottom. The Roach boys on the line there with Luke Copper. Well,
I don't think that's Copper.
That looks like Charlie White
White.
to me. Charlie White.
Definitely Charlie White.
Yeah, Charlie White, the man in the middle today.
He certainly had a good performance the last time I watched him referee Charlie White. He's one that will allow the challengers to fly in a little bit, but also one that's not afraid to show a bit of authority and tell the players off. So a good balance in this referee.
Well, he definitely let them go last week. Could have given a couple of penalties last week. So we'll see what they
let
make
them play.
Clarence is very
philosophy.
well. Clarence is very much a physical side, and
oh, hang on,
they'd appreciate that.
They've switched sides.
They have switched sides after the coin toss, so the wind is going to favour South Hobart early, and I'm going to just go with the 8-0 there instead now with Paul Hunt, because
I like how the change
I don't
of
think that
ends
there's actually a likelihood of Clarence scoring early anymore.
So we're underway at Darcy Street, and Randall lofts this one forward in the Schmidt direction. He'll chip it back into the middle there.
And look at that.
Jack Turner immediately on the ball.
A beautiful first time pass there from Jack Turner out wide to, was it Walter, I think, out there?
Yep.
So Jeremy
but, just couldn't quite get the touch right there.
Jeremy Price throwing in, Luke Farrell rising high, Kemp with a boot in there, Jack Turner. And now Jakey Stewart battling there. He's absolutely howling. It's going to be interesting to see how the players handle this one. I think keeping it along the deck will certainly make things a bit easier. Any aerial ball is going to be seriously affected.
It's blowing right off Mount Wellington, which is behind us to the left, and all those shooting to the right of screen are going to have a very nice tailwind.
Could make things
throughout
tough
this game
for keepers too, as this one's chipped in. The first real test of the day for Wilson. He's fumbled it. And Bremner trying to make a nuisance of himself. Got it back. Chips into the middle. No one on hand for Clarence though. And now a chance for range, but it's hammered rather horribly wide by Flynn.
Wow.
Not going to challenge him there, but
replay.
We saw Wilson struggling with the aerial ball there, and it's not going to be a fun day for goalkeepers.
No, it really isn't, and that's Exhibit A of that. Just held up in the air, a bit of backspin, and didn't quite know where that one was going to go, James Wilson. So interesting ploy from Clarence. I reckon we'll see a fair bit of that.
The goal's 90 degrees the other way, son.
Palmer on the ball, looked to find Naden, but only found Gorry Hamlet presenting short, gets to it. Now flicks it over the top out in front of Darcy Hall, but the pacey O'Dane Damar is back, and it would seem he's been shifted further back today. Damar perhaps worried about the threat that South Hobart pose with their pace. So Damar in defence, and he's been playing as a number 9 the last 2 weeks. He's Jack Turner sliding it through for Darcy Hall to the byline, cuts it back. Hamlet turns, fires and falls. Does really well to cover his angles.
No, he really covered that near post position that Hamlet was looking for then. So some quite good goalkeeping after we see Henry Lush with the dual pigtails getting absolutely skinned on the outside there by Darcy Hall.
As we look at Hamlet now running in behind, but Voss will claim that one nicely. He did rather well to hold his position. I thought Hamlet might go with that kind of back heel flick that you sometimes see from low near post crosses, as Voss launches that one into the stratosphere. And eventually the header one, now Gorry plays it forward in the direction of Hall, just beaten out to it. Fumbling around, Morton comes hammering in, and referee plays a good advantage as they've now got the ball out wide. Gets between Stewart, he's out wide. Going to cross this one in, but can't quite beat the first man. And Ludford will just thump that one clear in the direction of Walter, who, it's a risky back pass, but eventually cleared out of the area. Real composure the first couple of minutes. And Hall gets on it, now turn up. Who ended up tackling 2 people there, did the Lush.
Lushy.
Lush tackling there from Lush. But unfortunately that ball forward wasn't terribly lush, and South Hobart will try and get some composure and rebuild from the back.
That is some of the best hair I've seen on a football pitch. Number 7, Nicholas Lush.
Nicholas.
You know.
Oh, rather. That's my old mate, Henry Lush.
Henry, I think if I was Luke Farrell, gets on the ball here and squares it to Jackie Turner. Speaking of Edo, he's got the top knot going and it's served him very nicely over the past couple of months there.
Yeah, providing some good grip for headers, isn't it? He hasn't been spooning any over and getting underneath them, so perhaps the top knot is good for something.
There's Adam Gorry. We'll work it back to James Wilson. Very handy number 2 to have at your club, the former Rangers number 1, as Turner looks up and looks to spread the play with a raking ball. The wind gets a hold of that, but he's played it beautifully to Adam Gorry. Just let him get a bit far ahead of himself, though, and it's rolled out of play.
Wind assisted, I think, that touch.
Yeah. Certainly quite a quality ball there. I think, was it Ludford or Schmidt who played that one?
Turner.
Well, there you go. So, fantastic ball from Turner and fantastic eye from Jake Morgan.
So, Vossi to get things restarted, and it'll be interesting to see how high line Clarence played with this wind, making balls over the top. Pretty tough to judge. And this one's nodded forward by Turner. Dueling there was Randall, but again, Jack Turner is doing some nice work in the middle. Ludford to his partner at the back, Brown. Wilson, he really is dropping deep to get his foot on the ball early in this one. JT. Farrell now looking to unlock Connor Schmidt. I think this one will just be kept in. He's done well, Schmidt. He works it in towards Hamlet. Takes a touch to Mar there. It's going to be cleared eventually. It's going to come right back at them, though, through Adam Gorry.
Really good work there from Connor Schmidt on that left-hand side.
An errant pass just eludes Morton.
Yeah, South Hobart still getting their foot on the ball in the first 5 minutes, and we've certainly seen...
Still been one chance each, hasn't there, Fundy?
So it certainly has.
Haven't had it all their own way early on.
Yeah, just usually they like passing into space for their wingers and fullbacks to get down, and certainly just trying to get the weight on the passes a bit better as we see the double...
What is it?
I don't even know. I was about to say double ponytail.
Oh, it's like... Yeah.
Yeah, it's superb,
School
whatever
photo
it is.
day.
Yeah. As we see Ludford back on the ball. Out to Brown.
School photo day.
So we see Ludford out towards the wing. We see Turner. Now Schmidt. He'll look to go inside, Turner. He takes a touch inside. Oh. Nearly hit it. Morton tries to play it back to him. Now falls to Turner. Turns inside. And fortunately, it's just trickled past the near post for a goal kick.
I'll tell you what, he's no NASCAR, that man Turner. He cannot just turn left. He turns left, he turns right. Manufactured himself a good chance, but couldn't quite get the final finish on it right there, just kind of pulling that shot towards the near post. But certainly showing why he has been in such fine goal-scoring form, Turner.
Certainly has, as Ross looks to take this goal kick, just tries to get it out of a bit lower trajectory. Now Naden got time to look forward, but can't quite find Stewart.
There.
Olga Brown is still up at halfway, and he's put a through ball into Walter. It's just about got there as Alex Walter, but that's good covering defence eventually there from Price.
He'll always work hard for you, Jeremy Price. Got a fair engine on him, young man. Gets shifted about a little bit in this Clarence side, but predominantly played it right back, and he's certainly going to have his hands full against one of the premier players of the NPL Tasmania.
It's a good ball in from Ludford, and a little bit of an errant touch inside the box from the Lush man.
That was composed, rather, there, Fundy. I think composed is the right word we're looking at.
The spin on the ball says otherwise to me, as Morton picks it up. Hits it to Gorry. Morton again. Hamlet just nudged it up in the air, and another Lush challenge. And now that is composure, though, Morgs. I'll give him that one. Unfortunately, the pass wasn't terribly composed, and it falls straight to Ludford. He'll restart. Now Morton. He's got 3 down this right-hand side, and Hamlet cheaply gives it away. Naden has got 3 to beat all by himself. Eventually just lumps it down the line, and Ludford will just roll across. And Wilson and Brown will eventually try and recycle this one.
Akey Stewart's looking really isolated and taking up really the position on the right wing today, so really need to get him involved if they're going to really challenge them here today, Clarence.
Yeah, I know we're slightly talking about this wind a lot, but I think that possession of play there from Gorry is 99 times out of 100 this season. He's kept that under control and whipped a lovely ball in. In this case, it rolled about 20 metres in front of him.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough day for that. Something they're going to perhaps just take a little while to adapt to, the players, as Lush strides across to take the throw in here, and South Hobart will look to box them in. Throw in the Naden direction. Gorry just sat off and waited for it. Worked it to Hamlet, been busy early here. Hamlet, and again a heavy touch spills over the byline. So I think Clarence would be the happier of the two teams. They're opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think so far. They did manufacture one chance, but probably about the 3rd minute of the game. They're putting pressure on Wilson in the goals, but really other than that, they found themselves pent back a little bit. But they're defending quite well, if struggling to find the correct outlet to try and link up with the forwards, because the South Hobart defence has been quite strong too.
I think they'll just be happy to have got through an opening period without conceding here against this South Hobart side. That
I wouldn't set standards so low. I've got faith in them.
Didn't you predict 8-0 pre-game? As this one's chipped over the top for Lush. And he'll work this one back to Voss.
Consistency is not part of commentary calling.
As Voss knocks it in the Luke Farrell direction, nods it down looking there for Jack Turner. He plays it to Ludford. Ludford working it to Farrell, back to Hugh Ludford, the Warhorse just trudging forward and sensing a chance to get involved in the action here. Hughie Ludford with the wind at his back, perhaps a day for an Oscar Thomas-esque halfway strike.
Well, you're certainly more likely to do it deliberately today than last weekend. As we see Gorry, Morton link up well. There's Morton tucks inside, he's going to hit it, and good block there from Demay, and then eventually whacked clear from Price.
How about that link-up play between Morton and Darcy Hall there, though? The flicking touches, one-touch play, really beautiful stuff.
Absolutely, as they'll now try and do similar again. Ludford to Brown. At the moment, every single South Hobart player in their half until Brown stepped back to get that one. And now Ludford. He's just going to try and slice Clarence open, but probably a little bit rushed there. No need to launch that one down to the wing. Eventually one back by Schmidt, who looks to go inside. Eventually falls to Hall, and he's got Gorry on his outside and plays a lovely ball in behind Naden. And again, Gorry just not quite judging the wind there, and it rolling out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, a bit like a snowball sometimes when that snowball rolling down a mountain, rather, when it gets out on this right-hand side, because the wind is taking it, and it just seems to gather up a lot of steam and get quicker and faster as it continues on. But some good play here from South Hobart as Turner gets whacked in a big challenge there. The ball falls to Ludford, who gets his head up and sees Alex Walter out wide.
That's the ball, I reckon. Diagonal into the breeze like that as Walter crosses in near post. Demar away. I reckon you hit those crossfield ones and they're just going to drop nicely. And Alex Walter, then he will perhaps look to be keeling him in, because it's not going to be a comfortable experience for Voss dealing with these crosses with this swirling breeze.
How many goals has he got this season again? About
So this one swung dangerously over the back post.
About 10 or so for Walter, isn't it?
Yeah, about that.
He's been prominent.
And fine fettle.
He's set up a lot of goals too. He's been a dynamic player down the left, one of the very best players in the competition this year. Walter perhaps found that level of consistency that he hasn't had in previous years. He's always shown plenty of flashes, and this year he's really established himself as a top player in this competition.
I'll tell you who's stiff not to be in the lineup today. Oscar Thomas. Mr. Halfway himself. By Jove, I wish I'd been here for that one, boys.
Yeah, you certainly were regretting that one immediately after you saw that as Hamlet.
Well, I watched the replay of it, boys, and the amount of noise that was coming out of Darcy Street, I could not hear a word that you were saying. It was pandemonium.
Absolute scenes here a week ago as they claimed that win over Olympia. It has them in at such a strong position.
Such a beautiful, composed finish from Thomas too, wasn't it,
Oh,
lads?
absolutely. And just to prove how far out of nowhere it was when I was listening back to it, we were saying some usual nonsense about the People's Champion Shea Hickey, and then all of a sudden there's this enormous crowd roar and it's in the back of the net, and just absolute scenes.
Yeah, as good a clearance as you will ever see.
Shot.
Jack Turner working this one forward, looking for Darcy Hall. Demar repels. A scrap in the middle, but well one back there by Hammer Time Hamlet. He's full on now the Morthog, but Lush does well to get it away from him. Luke Farrell shifts it wide for Schmidt. And it'll elude him and run out of play. So South Hobart firmly on top early on, but battling the conditions as much as the opposition through the opening 15.
You reckon it's a goal of the season contenders, Thomas Clarence come shot?
Oh,
You reckon it's better than
It
Cohen's?
was a shot.
well, both of them to me were just
Clearances.
clearances. I reckon both of them, they've just been trying to clear the area.
You know, you boys, you sit up here in your ivory tower of the commentary box and you act like things like that aren't done deliberately. I tell you what, they don't train 2 or 3 times a week to not produce magic like that on a regular basis, mate. They were shots. Definitely shots.
I've heard grand delusion before, but that is a fine example of it right there.
Yeah, you're kidding yourself, lads.
Yeah, one of us is kidding ourselves, that's for sure.
He'd make a good central midfielder, that Oscar Thomas, with rangy boots like that.
Just on Oscar Thomas, I'm surprised he hasn't started more.
Yeah.
It's going for the experienced pairing of Brown and Ludford, but I remember a couple of years ago in the FFA Cup game, was absolutely immense against Sydney up there. Was probably their best player, and you just thought at that stage, this kid's he's the real deal. He's going to kick on and be a pillar of this South Hobart team. He's had a few injuries and other concerns, but it is surprising that he's on the bench here again today, because he's a really classy young defender.
He's started
I certainly
both
think
of their FFA Cup games in the past both seasons, and then all of a sudden there's this kind of 2-year window of in-out injury and then back into it with an absolute bang.
Ludford's certainly a fine player, and Dogger Brown as the ball is whipped in. Oh, incredible attempted shot there from Dogger Brown, the acrobatic centre-back right there, but the ball didn't fall to him at all.
You don't say acrobatics from me. He punched that, surely. No,
and
he's got
Jakey
the hit.
Stewart's in with a bit of a chance here with the keeper well off his line. I wouldn't have minded a bit of an Oscar Thomas there. He gets his head up and he's got Nick Naden streaming into the box, but he can't find him. Finds a little bit more space with players arriving, but they can't really do anything right there. But it's all Clarence outside the box, and there we go.
That's more like it.
That's got a bit of snow up on it, and who knows where that ball was going to end up with the swirling breeze that we've got at Darcy Street today.
And I thought that was going to be a goal kick, and it's ended up as a throw-in 15 metres in.
That's some really good work there from Clarence, and they're going to need to create some doubts in the mind of South Hobart that they can challenge on the break, because it has been all South so far.
Yeah, nice strong header there from DeMar back in centre-back. Turner. Now Morton. I was thinking he was going for Hall then, but not quite. Plays it inside to Farrell, now out to Walter, who gets one in the back from Bryce afterwards. Advantage paid. I think Schmidt would like to pass it back to him, but he's still on the ground. Eventually gets it back to Walter.
Yeah, a little bit more judo than football player there from Bryce out on the right-hand side.
Just as we said,
beautiful
Gorry.
crossfield ball, which Gorry was really getting onto, and haven't they started going after those diagonal crossfield balls, boys? And they're certainly carrying a threat, especially when you've got a run like Gorry coming in from behind, from right back.
Yeah, it's storming right back. Here's Adam Gorry. Nearly in there, but Voss
Danny
doing well.
Alves like there.
Absolutely. I think Voss may just be the most experienced player on the field, and to do with this wind, I'm really sure he played full 90 in the Challenge League game previously, so he knows the conditions. Is well warmed up and alert, so maybe that's having an advantage so far.
It really reminds me of conditions for a South Hobart game a couple of years ago, cup final against Kingborough. At half time it was 0-0, and second half had the winds at their back and won comfortably, but for 45 minutes it just caused absolute chaos. Blowing straight down one end of the ground.
I think Jack Turner was in the Kingborough lineup for that game from memory.
I believe he was, as DeMar competes with Hamlet, and then back heels it away. Turner working there, cleared not convincingly. Lush gets his foot on it, works it out, but it's going to come right back at them. Clarence just unable to string anything together at the moment. They're parking themselves back and trying to survive this spell of pressure as Schmidt turns back the other way, retreats to Ludford. Bremner bombing on, looking to pressure, and affected the kick a little. And now maybe Clarence can try and build something, but DeMar didn't do Price any real favours there. He lofts it forward, straight to Dogger Brown.
Do you reckon we could go with Medicliana for Loic Feral TV, or is it a bit too much of a mouthful to pull out in commentary, lads?
Just Feral TV, I reckon.
Feral
Just
TV.
keep it simple. It's been established. He's a real mouthful and impressively delivered there. I'll give you that one. It's quality programming in the 90s.
Oh, incredible naming from the makers of Feral TV there. Incredible name for a cat.
Nodded for by Schmidt. Turner again, volley. Price. Jake Stewart. Brady in close quarters, and again out of place. So after a lively opening 5 minutes or so, no real chances of note. Last 10 minutes as Bremner looking to bustle and make his physical presence felt. Now Clarence sensing a chance to break. They send it in the direction of Naden, but Gorry got down to head it away well.
How good is Adam Gorry?
Very good.
Let's be serious for a second. That is just about the best right back that I've seen in local football, to be honest, because his positioning defensively there was marvellous, slotting right back in almost as another centre back as the line got pulled around. But equally, you'll find him exactly in the other spot up the other end of the ground when South Hobart are on the attack, and he just seems to be able to know exactly when to be in the right positions. Excellent work there.
Probably a bit more of a Cafu than a Danny Alves, a bit better tracking back.
About that too, but Loic Farrell takes it away there, but a bit of an errant pass is intercepted by Lush, and he gets it to Naden, who puts his head down and runs at it a little bit. Under increasing pressure from Nick Morton and a bit of cover provided from Gorry too, but no support there for Naden, and he should feel a little bit disappointed with his teammates there because he was starting to push into a good spot.
Yeah, got absolutely no support there. He did that very well last week. Up north did Nick Naden, just getting at the centre back and the right back, so that's going to be what we'll see from him again today as Hall is beaten out to it.
Henry Lush has had the better of Darcy Hall out on this left-hand side too, I think, boys.
I think Hall's intimidated by that haircut.
Yeah.
I certainly am.
A bit confused by it, I think. It is a confusing dude.
Yeah, you know, as we see Wilson at his first touch in a fair few minutes out here. Plays a nice pass into the box to Ludford, and just playing a nice 3v1 drill like it's training on a Tuesday night here in their own box. Eventually,
yeah, I thought you were going to say that it was his first touch for a minute, but he did flap at one earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that technically counts as a touch, but not one he'd want to remember.
Yep, like a baby bird falling out of a nest as Hamlet gets onto the ball and gives it to Schmidt, and they start combining to try and work the ball back into a forward position for South Hobart, but really well done out there from, I think, Price for a second. No, rather it wasn't Price, but Price on the ball now, and he gets the ball just thumped away only as far as Ludford. He looks up to Schmidt. Got Gorry looking on the overlap, but well tracked by Nick Naden on the other side. And South get on the defensive once again. It's been better this last 5 minutes, but that's a really poor pass there from Jeremy Price and a really poor pass there from Jack Turner to give the ball away as O'Dane gets up onto the ball and looks out wide to Lush. Got a couple of options up there and goes short to Naden. He'll overlap a little bit.
Passes it to no one in particular, and
yeah, you got to play the ball, not the man.
Yeah, Bremner and Brown just deciding to go shoulder to shoulder rather than make any attempt at the ball, and Gorry will throw it back in to Morton. 3 Clarence players surround him. Naden in the centre of the park. Got Price out wide, goes back to DeMar. And now we're going to see them switch the play again. Now Lush lays it inside. Lush again. Probably the most passes Clarence has strung together all match here. And Turner with the pressure. Oh, turns out of it very well. Now Naden. He's got a player overlapping in Bremner, but can't quite get it out there.
Hit it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and then he's played that ball way in advance of Lush. Nice play there from Clarence.
Yeah, well, they've really grown into the game in the last 5 minutes or so because it was just all South Hobart, and they barely had the ball in their half for the first 15, aside from that one chance in probably the 3rd minute. So starting to grow into it and challenging them a little bit. So positive signs here from a Clarence side who will be kicking with the breeze in the second half. So positive signs for the contest.
Absolutely, as Dogger Brown goes charging in. It falls out to Naden. Got an overlap here from Randall, but eventually Dogger Brown comes across to clear that one.
Yeah, there was only one person who was going to win that challenge, wasn't it? He put his head down and just charged at the ball there, Dogger Brown, showing his experience as a centre-back, and hopefully we'll be seeing the long throw here from Lush. Not too long, rather, just goes short to Bremner, but quickly grabbed by Darcy Hall, and he's off despite the foul. He gets his head up, but there's not really anybody in any kind of decent spot, and perhaps if that ball had been another 30 metres to the left with the wind, then it might have just drifted in. But
I reckon that was an
audacious attempt there.
It was a shot from Darcy Hill. He's looked up. The keeper was off his line, but you're not quite going to beat him with execution like that. And really, like like you're off the tee here, you need to be just allowing for the breeze and aiming a good 20 metres.
Almost aim it at the
direction.
opposing corner flag if you're there.
Yeah, really allow for the big fade.
And have a look at that. Like that is a perfect example of the chaos that the wind is causing here today, because that wasn't actually an awful looking pass and the wind's just spat it out at 90 degrees away from where the player had been hoping.
It's Darcy Hall looking to get involved down the right here against Lush. Nathan in support, works it centrally to Hamlet. Hamlet with a little dink, but it was behind Darcy Hall, who'd already taken off for the run. And again, the throw in. Nathan the target, the 2 threes battling. Gorry got in ahead of him. But it'll be a Clarence throw. Enjoying the battle of the 2 threes down this near touchline.
Yeah, it's certainly the place to be, isn't it? On this South Hobart's right-hand side, the Clarence attacking left.
Another great example of the throwing going in play and then swirling out of play with no one touching it.
Yeah, just really took hold of that one as Dogger Brown works it back to Ludford. So 25 minutes into this contest, 0-0 the score. South Hobart starting the sharper, but struggling to really create anything of note since. Jack Turner back to the Frenchman, who just pulls out the pitching wedge and digs it out in the path of Hamlet. Voss able to collect. And Hammer Time just leading with the fist there, trying to get a bit of a hand of God type action.
I was going to say, it was a very hand of God attempt at trying to play that one as Voss lumps it forward. Stewart beats out to it by Ludford. Now Schmidt, who's going to try and dink that ball through. Unfortunately, no one running on. Tamar knocks it back to Voss, and his clearance just gets held up in the wind, and Turner pick it up in the centre circle. Still trying to methodically get their way through this Clarence defence is South Hobart. And eventually falls to Gorry. Back to Turner. And probably going to now try the other side as that wind howls up even more. Inside to Walter. Now, I think that was intended for Feral TV, but let that one slide. Now falls to the Frenchman. Schmidt, nice little passing play here from South Hobart. And I think that's given as a throw-in, I think, but just gone the other direction to what the linesman thought.
Jeremy Price, so we'll take this one. And
maybe it is a free kick.
Yeah.
Damar casually stealing a good 10 yards there.
He's done really well. Would have liked to see Price over this one. They'll go for O'Day and Damar. Price's set-piece delivery is something that's really impressed me in recent weeks as Damar sends this one. Wilson should comfortably collect, and that he does. And he looks
great
to send
distribution.
away. That's a clever throw to release Adam Gorry.
Oh, bad touch though.
Allowed in Lush. Now Naden back to the Lush man.
It's a good ball, and he was not aware to it, Bremner.
Bremner battling now with the likes of Turner and Ludford. And the two win out, although
absolutely the right ball there to play from Lush, but just not quite on the same wavelength there, Bremner.
Not a bad result. The throw in for Clarence here in a good area. Perhaps a chance to create something. They've not really been able to ask any questions of Wilson early in this one. One cross which was fumbled, but no real chances of note falling the way of the Reds. That said, South Hobart.
Lovely hands there too from Lush on the sideline. You can absolutely see why he wasn't playing handball as a youngster. Opted to go with football. But let's see how far he can heave it in this time.
Will he go for Palmer instead? He does. He works it to Paul Palmer, who just chips one in. Clever little touch from Randall. What's he got in support? He turns and puts it straight to Ludford.
Yeah, probably the right thing to do, because I think Naden had just strayed offside then, and you can't afford to do that when your team needs to have an outlet for your attacking player. And now South Hobart are on the attack through Darcy Hall, and he's got options. Hammer Time and Nick Morton keeps going. Ball comes out wide to Walter, and he looks in for Darcy Hall. But what a covering challenge there from O'Dane. A certain goal denied there from the defender, and Walter whips in another one, but comfortably away there. Nervous times there for Clarence, boys.
Yeah, last ditch challenge there from the import Damar. Done very well to block that one. As now South Hobart will build the ball back up through Feral TV. He's got a few options forward, just plays it short to Turner, who...
It's the catch-22 for Clarence, isn't it? Because every time they attack, they're twice as likely to concede with the space that they leave in behind.
I reckon they'd love to have 2 O'Danes as well.
Yeah.
They've
I
lost.
think they'd love to have 3 or 4 of them, to be honest.
I was going to say 11, but
They've just lost something up top with him as Morton now has a pocket of space to work in. Threads it to Hamlet. He turns on the left and rising shot is just over the bar. It was a well-crafted chance.
And you have to say, that's the first real shot in anger in the game, to be honest, isn't it, boys? This Clarence team have been very composed and behind the ball, but a chance there for hammer time on the left boot there, but always rising.
yeah, it's got to say, if you're not counting the block shots like we saw with Damar before, that is probably the first real shot in anger from South Hobart, taking a good 29 minutes. Certainly not what you or I predicted pre-game as...
Lovely goal kick.
Yeah, a little bit of a shank there, but eventually falls out to Naden at halfway, so they won't complain too much. It's got Bremner charging down the wing, and Dogger Brown will get there most times. Now Morton, probably look for Walter, sets him a task.
What a ball, Nick Morton.
Beautiful.
Darcy Hall gets his head up, jinks inside. Jeremy Price, O'Dane covers again, which just gives Price the chance to recover. Really good work there from that defensive unit at the back after Price copped a bit of skinning.
Yeah, you got a better eyesight than me. I didn't notice that Walter and Hall had swapped sides. As Schmidt now picks up not too many options. Eventually has Ludford. He's going to start joining the attacking play here.
South Hobart now playing with 1 at the back. They're starting to turn the screws.
Yeah, it's pretty much sit Dogger Brown on halfway and everyone else go forward. It's got a question on the live chat. Where is Darby Randall? Not even on the bench today, so I'm assuming an injury, as I don't think Clarence have even nominated a sub-keeper.
Yeah, not sure our mate Randall Darby is, but
Randall Darby.
He's been demoted to the
2 last names.
I
think that's why.
Demoted to second choice after Voss took the reins a few weeks ago anyway. He started the last few for them. And he takes this goal kick and won't keep it in.
They don't look dissimilar, I have to say, the 2 of them.
There's not a massive difference. And now a chance perhaps as Darcy Hall looks to run at this defence. Damar with another sliding challenge. That's 4 great challenges he's made in the opening half
Man of the match
hour.
so far, isn't he?
He's been outstanding as Morton works it to Turner, lays it off to Damar
And
again. There's the
I'll tell you what,
back there at the moment.
You've got to be careful calling a defensive player as man of the match in the first 30 minutes, to be honest, so I might just put a lid on that one. But he's certainly been good so far, hasn't he, boys?
No, I was thinking similar at the Olympia Kingborough game last night, thinking that Kingborough's defence was man of the match, and they still ended up conceding 3.
I reckon their keeper might have been no man of the match, so I'm sure the defence was doing all the work keeping them out. Sheikh Kamara.
Yeah, he was on fire last night.
Speaking of good players to watch, he was very sharp again, the Sheikh man, as this one's chipped forward for Walter, a searching ball. He tracks it down and volleys it back, but it was a difficult one for him. Couldn't get the boot around it enough to work at the Hamlet. And still 0-0. The score, 32 minutes gone here, and an ugly up and under.
Wow.
But might just clock bluster there on the camera, but just a little bit short in the end. Naden now. Can he make something happen for Clarence? They need to get some bodies forward here. They've not got a lot in support, but Flynn duelling with Turner and scrapping it hard as well there was the Frenchman. Eventually it spills.
Stuff from Flynn there, getting the party tricks out there. The rabbit hop out of trouble.
Works to Randall, and now Jake Stewart looking to make inroads down the right. His cross will be shut down there by Dogger
Wallaby
Brown.
Flynn hopping away there. That was beautiful.
Jez Price works it to Bremner, turning onto the right, now onto the left. South Hobart defence haven't had to do a lot, but they've been pretty good when they have had to step up. And again, they shut this one down. Stewart industrious as ever down the right, though. He kept it in. What's his delivery like? Not too bad. He'll win a corner as Brown puts it behind.
Not too bad.
Brown trying to give that to the kids in the park there. Big thumping clearance away.
Give the kids barbecue down there a quick present.
Clarence will be really happy with where they're at in this game. 32 minutes gone and they're keeping it at 0-0, and now they've got a chance for a corner to just maybe snatch one against the breeze. And wouldn't that be a story here today, boys, if they could take a 1-0 lead at half-time? The Strikers fans will be rubbing their hands together with glee.
I certainly will be. You certainly got to try and put this one right on about the 6-yard box line, somewhere between the 6-yard and the penalty spotters. It's whipped in right into that zone. But
great header away from Darcy Hall there and taken by Nick Morton, who gets his head up, but only Hammer Time Hamlet on offer, and he can't quite take the touch that was needed to play a 1-2 there.
Yeah, he got a slight nudge in the back, but centre-back did just about as much as you can without giving away the foul. So Clarence can keep the pressure on this South Hobart defence. And it's going to be Price jogging out to take this one. I'd imagine this would go somewhere down the line in the Palmer or Stewart direction.
Indeed, that is the target, just over Stewart's head, and Connor Schmidt on hand to nod that one into touch. He'll get back to his feet
surprised
now.
to see him lining up on the right today. I really thought he'd be running through the middle, Jakey Stewart.
It's an interesting one. Perhaps just wanting that extra body back in midfield, and Stewart can certainly track back down that flank and perhaps provide a bit of coverage for the likes of Walker and Hall. I think very much a setup.
Probably the Clarence player most likely to beat his man in the team, though, too, which is a sacrifice to make if you want to win the game.
Luke Farrell back to the Morthog.
Ooh.
He just couldn't quite reach Turner. He might be able to win it away anyway, but somehow
Wallaby
Cody
Flynn.
Flynn able to get there. I don't know about Wallaby Flynn. This one's chipped down the line with a chance for Hamlet to get him behind, but again, O'Dane DeMar was there and the offside flag somehow raised. So he must have started from an offside position, then run back onside.
And then,
Look, mate, with the hop that he pulled off earlier and a little bit of a pouch that he's working with there. So.
The pouch!
you're a harsh man, Jake Morgan. See that one. Knocked back to Voss, who plays it short dangerously. Morton stills in there,
Certain
1v1. Tries to go round him, and Lush with the clearing defence.
Oh, Henry Lush, you absolute hero, bailing his keeper and defence out of trouble there. Won't the Clarence team be happy that they've got him in the lineup today, and why would you be throwing him out after that?
Nick Morton just hit it, for God's sake.
Oh, yeah, you have to say, too, that I'm a bit disappointed with Ben Hamlet's positioning there, because he just rolled offside when it could have been a simple pass out to the side and a tap in. So perhaps not all Nick Morton's fault there, but a lovely covering challenge from Henry Lush.
The keeper doing well to just make amends for his error too. It was an under-hit pass that got them into trouble in the first place, but got up there and did well to put Morton off. Here's Brown now, curling one in straight to DeMar, seized upon by Turner. Work back to Darcy Hall. He threads it to the Morthog Morton. Back to Darcy Hall. Shot blocked well there by Palmer. And they survive again, but
Yeah,
South
look at
Hobart.
this, they're getting involved, aren't they, with Ludford taking a position up on the left wing. They're certainly turning the screws now.
Yeah, they're starting to dial up the pressure here at South Hobart, asking some more meaningful questions. It's taken them a little bit of time just to get into this game. They've probably had a 25-minute period there where they've not created much, but starting now to really force the issue. And the wind just slightly dying off as well, which bodes well for them to throw in to Hamlet. Surrounded by white shirts. Getting in there again was Darcy Hall. Squared it to Turner. A little dink into the box. Lushy, I'm not sure he knew too much about that one, but cleared it eventually. Now Naden just opts to punt that one into touch.
Let's see, Gorry to get this forward again.
Lush.
Dogger Brown has still actually stayed forward this entire time, but he's now on the ball, trying to do a bit of a flick to himself. Now ducks inside. Dogger Brown going for a run, calls for a penalty, and given on Dogger Brown. What a great piece of skill there from the centre back to win the penalty for his team.
Well, he certainly exaggerated. I reckon there was a foul, but he certainly made sure the referee
and Wilson's
saw it.
just going for a bit of a walk here. Could he be just inserting himself, boys?
0-0 unlikely as we have a look at the replay. Brown
It'll be
is
hammer time.
turning into the box here, and a little bit of contact from the Lush man. Perhaps not enough to make him fall like that, though. I think Dogger Brown's made the most of that one.
Oh.
He certainly made the most of that one.
Yeah, I think Lush will be a little bit disappointed with that one, and he might have a little bit to say to the referee after that. But hammer time Hamlet to make it 1-0. Keeper's making himself look rather big and red in the goals.
Up steps hammer time. We're just waiting for a little bit of a dispute to be sorted here on the edge of the box before Hamlet. And look, it might only be the 30th minute, but I'll be in favour of Vossi just channeling the Victorian keeper, just belted the penalty away just for the cheek of it. Caught the yellow card.
We've got a bit of a comedy affair going on over here between O'Dane and Turner on the edge of the box, just in a little bit of a discussion, looking more like sprinters at the block right now.
Yeah,
just got to tell O'Dane to get back outside the line. Hamlet comes in. Hamlet is saved, and Hamlet misses the rebound. Incredible stuff here for Clarence. And geez, maybe it's just not looking like South Hobart's day today. Really, you have to say it was a poor penalty, lads.
Look, it wasn't the best penalty. He's hit it very low, very softly, and not particularly in any corner. And Voss has just stayed tall, waited for him to kick it actually, and then just leant back like anything afterwards. Oh dear. And Turner just want to marshal Hamlet away. He'll want to make amends for that one.
Young Henry Lush will be having a bit of a scream of justice after that one, I think.
I think so, as the goal kick taken back. And Demar will let that one roll through to the keeper. So, gilt-edged chance there.
And you have
for
to
South
say,
Hobart.
boys, that unless they score in the next 6 minutes, they will be working into the breeze in this second half. This South Hobart side, so very, very positive signs for Clarence in this first half.
Yeah, I think certainly myself deserves to give
Oh,
Clarence an
Lushy
apology
again.
for the pre-match prediction. As Feral TV picks it up in the centre. Now Morton goes for the reverse ball to Hamlet, who now gets it to Turner. Ball looks to go down to the byline. It's got 2 for company. I think there's a handball in
bit
there.
of a handball,
but I'd find that a bit harsh. I think it was on Demar, but I'm fairly sure it just deflected onto him. We'll have another look at that.
Yeah, right arm.
I don't really know what you can do about that, as it's hit
Yeah.
from 3 inches away.
It is a bit of a natural position, so probably the right decision there from the referee.
Yeah, and that one spins out of play, so we tick into last 40 minutes and 0-0 here at the Theatre of Dreams.
A little bit of frustration starting to seep in around the ground now because they've had the benefit of the possession and position. They're not quite managing to break through at the moment.
Yeah, as we see, nice hold-up play again. Bramley tries to get it to Lush, whose name is probably the most called one so far today. Dogger Brown just inserts.
It's a good name to call, boys.
Oh, well. That's right in front of the South Hobart bench. They've given it
not too happy
towards Clarence, and they are not happy about that. Naden tries to keep it in, but he'll probably... Well, I felt for sure that Naden had actually shouldered that one out of play.
The crowd just starting to give it a little bit to the linesman, and I think he's probably got that one wrong, I have to say. So it's just come off the shoulder of Naden there, and I think he's just been corrected, perhaps. Yeah.
There we go.
So the right decision in the end.
You know, just a merciless species. This bloke's given up his Sunday to run the line, gets one wrong, and just absolutely cops it from the crowd.
They're a passionate bunch down here at Darcy Street.
That's why you've got the main referee in there to overrule them on occasion. Probably had a better view of it than the linesman there.
So Henry Lush heaves it down the line onto the Henna Bremner. He flicked on. Lush forward onto Walter. The aerial ping pong at the moment. Brown jumped in front, and that's a harsh decision on Naden.
Brown did not appeal for that in the slightest.
Yeah. No, Naden using his body quite well there, to be honest, and
nothing in that at all.
Bit of a soft free kick there for South Hobart, who are going to take the opportunity to get in behind with Darcy Hall, and using that win to perfection was Dogger Brown. They win themselves a corner courtesy of the intervention of Price.
Well done, Jez Price. Gets across. Lovely ball from Brown. Set it up into the wind.
Tell you what, boys, 3 minutes until I can tuck into my yowie.
Jeez, a renaissance there, the yowie.
Looking forward to it.
How many 90s references are we going to get in today?
Oh, mate, we're becoming our parents. They had their 80s nights. We'll have our 90s nights.
Well, here's Nick Morton on the set piece. What can he do? Will he use the breeze here and curl this one into the box? Ask some questions of the keeper. It does take a hold of it. It was curling dangerously, but...
almost a shot there from Nick Morton, just hoping to use the breeze to curl that one in. Could have been an absolute classic.
Yeah, not the worst option, I don't reckon, from that side. Just trying to curl it in there near side. You've got a keeper who hasn't played a lot this year. You want to be asking the questions of him, as now it'll be Adam Gorry to take from the opposite side, and this one is in the middle of the box, and strong hands from Voss.
Joe Danaher like there, just at the highest point, the big reach. Got to say, that's some rather good keeping there from Voss.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Over
two pack mark.
Over 2 South Hobart players. It's a wonderful
Yeah,
back
what?
mark. And
A couple of clubs could use him as a third tall.
yeah. And that's gone straight up in the air and pretty much backwards from that header from Turner, who now contest with Price and eventually Comes off Turner's foot for a throw-in. So, just a very, very solid defensive half from Clarence. Obviously, they've had a fair few tricky moments the last few minutes, but overall, I think they'd be very, very happy with this half.
Yeah, and I'm, despite being a South fan, hoping to watch the title wrapped up here. I've been quite impressed by them, but they're in a bit of danger here with hammer time, and he looks to Walter on the other side. Just Lush to cover him. They're in a bit of trouble here, the Clarence United. But they get the cross in, falls to Morton, takes a touch, and it's a goal. And what an incredible goal it was from Nick Morton with a little bit of an over-the-shoulder flick.
Oh,
He's
sublime.
been in fine fiddle. Sublime goal. And it could be one of the biggest goals of the year, and hasn't he been one of the players of the year, boys?
Nick the Mordog Morton doing what he does best. It looked like the chance had dissipated for a brief second and then sets up the volley.
Oh, look at the footwork there from Walter.
Walter, he puts the cross into Mar, gets a little piece of it, and here we go. Just one touch to volley, another one, and then bang.
Oh. Tell you what, that's a very, very good goal from the Morton.
Ludicrous finish there from Nick the Morthog. Incredible.
He doesn't score too many bad goals, does Nick Morton. He scored a couple of very nice ones from outside the box here a couple of weeks ago. And
it was really going to take a moment of class to unlock this Clarence defence today, wasn't it? And he has provided it.
Yeah, right on the stroke of half-time.
They've just got such a great goal-scoring midfield lineup, don't they?
Don't they ever? I mean,
with Kemp out of the lineup too, who will usually come in for Loic Ferrell TV for Al.
And yeah, obviously Turner looking to break that NPL record of most games scored consecutively, and yeah, Nick Warthog Morton, quite frankly, a lovely, lovely bit of control. As there's probably only going to be a minute of stoppage time here, so Schmidt whips it in. Turner.
Will it dip?
Nearly dips, and Voss.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be very hard to pick player of the season, but he's going to be in for a pretty fair shout, I reckon, the Morthog.
And he certainly is, as we see half-time in this NPL Taz clash. Nick Morthog Morton with an absolute wonder goal just before half-time, put South Hobart in front.
Just fine
But that's
touch.
only one goal with the win, so look, still all to play for here in the second half. Clarence been very solid defensively.
As you'll
this
expect
half.
that I would really like to see Clarence shift Jakey Stewart into the middle of the park in this second half, because there's going to be a bit of carry from that breeze for them to get long balls in behind the back, and I dare say he has a little bit of speed over Dogger Brown and Hugh Ludford at the back for South Hobart. So despite going down 1-0 from that pretty extraordinary goal there from Nick Morton, they'll be hoping that they can equalise pretty quickly, Clarence United.
Yeah, while I'm an advocate of a bit more of a passing on the deck game, I wouldn't be surprised just to loft one in the air and let the breeze carry it and have someone very pacey run in behind Brown and
He certainly
Ludford.
is going to have to be careful to not go too far off his line here too, Wilson, in this second half, because I think there'll be a few Clarence players who will be willing to have a go from halfway, and with the wind on today, I think it could be a fair option.
Yeah, shown it can be done here at South Hobart. We'll leave you with the highlights from the first half and see you very soon. Morton.
Breaking ball, the wind gets a hold of that, but he's played it beautifully to Adam Gorry. Just letting it a bit far ahead of himself though, and it's rolled out of play.
Wind assisted, I think, that touch.
One lock, Connor Schmidt. I think this one will just be kept in. He's
run at him.
done well, Schmidt. He works it in towards Hamlet. Takes a touch to Mar there. And it's going to be cleared eventually. It's going to come right back at the
Side
ball.
nearly hit it. Morton tries to play it back to him. Now falls to Turner. Turns inside, and fortunately, it's just trickled past the near post for
The NPL Tasmania.
It's a good ball in from Ludford, and a little bit of an errant touch inside the box from the Lush man,
that
and
was
it's up in the air, and another Lush challenge. And now that is composure
That
though,
is
Morgs. I'll give him
composure.
that one. Fortunately, the pass wasn't terrible.
Halfway strike.
Well, you're certainly more likely to do it deliberately today than last weekend. As we see Gorry Morton link up well. There's Morton tucks inside. He's going to hit it, and good block there. And then eventually whacked clear from.
Continues on, but some good play here from South Hobart as Turner gets whacked in a big challenge there. The ball falls to Ludford. How many goals has he got this season again? This
one swung dangerously over the back post.
About 10 or so for Walter, isn't it?
Yeah, about that.
Ludford certainly a fine player, and Dogger Brown as the ball is whipped in. Incredible attempted shot there from Dogger Brown.
But not quite. Plays it inside. To Burrell, now out to Walter, who gets one in the back from Bryce afterwards. Advantage.
Football player there. Yeah. Bryce out on the right-hand side.
Just as we
beautiful crossfield ball, which Gorry was really getting onto. And
they sent it in the direction of Naden, but Gorry got down to head it away well.
How good is Adam Gorry?
Very good. That's it. And Turner with the pressure. It's out of it.
That's
very
beautiful.
Well. Now Naden. He's got a player overlapping in Bremner, but can't quite get it out there.
Hit it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and then he's played that ball.
I'd rather just go short to Bremner, but quickly grabbed by Darcy Hall, and he's off despite the foul. He gets his head up, but there's not really anybody in any kind of
set-piece delivery, something that's really impressed me in recent weeks. As DeMar sends this one, Wilson should comfortably collect, and that he does. And he looks at Paul Palmer, he just chips one in. Clever little touch from Randall. What's he got in support? He turns and puts it straight to Ludford.
Yeah, probably the right thing to do. Nick Morton keeps going. Ball comes out wide to Walter, and he looks in for Darcy Hall. But what a covering challenge there from O'Dane. A certain goal denied there from the defender, and Walter whips in another one, but comfortably away there. Nervous times there.
Now there's a pocket of space to work in. Threads it to Hamlet. He turns on the left, and rising shot is just over the bar. It was a well-crafted chance.
And you have to say, that's
now a chance perhaps as Darcy Hall looks to run at this defence. DeMar with another sliding challenge. That's 4 great challenges he's made in the opening
man of the match so far, isn't he?
He's been outstanding. One's chipped forward for Walter, a searching ball. He tracks it down and volleys it back, but it was a difficult one for him. Couldn't get the boot around it enough to work at the hammer. They've got a lot in support, but Flynn duelling with Turner and scrapping it hard as well there. It was the Frenchman. Eventually it spills.
Stuff from Flynn.
Industrious as ever down the right, though. He kept it in. What's his delivery like? Not too bad. He'll win a corner as Brown puts it behind.
Not too bad. Box line, somewhere between the 6 yard and the penalty spotters. It's whipped in right into that zone. But
great header away from Darcy Hall there, and taken by Nick Morton, who gets his one.
Back to Voss, who plays it short dangerously. Morton stills in there, 1v1. Tries to go round him, and Lush with the clearing defence.
Henry Lush, you absolute hero, bailing his...
Threads it to the Morthog Morton. Back to Darcy Hall. Shot blocked well there by Palmer. They survive again, but South Hobart
on the ball, trying to do a bit of a flick to himself. Now ducks inside. Dogger Brown going for a run, calls for a penalty, and given on
right now. Just got to tell O'Dane to get back outside the line. Hamlet comes in. Hamlet is saved, and Hamlet misses the rebound. Incredible stuff here for Clarence. And geez, maybe it's
one into the box. Some questions to the keeper. It does take a hold of it. It was killing dangerously, but
almost a shot there from Nick Morton, just hoping to use the
Gorry to take from the opposite side, and this one is in the middle of the box, and
strong
hands from Voss.
Joe Danaher like there, just to cover him. They're in a bit of trouble here with Clarence United. They get the cross in, falls to Morton, takes a touch, and it's a goal. And what an incredible goal it was from Nick Morton with a little bit of an over-the-shoulder flick.
Sublime. So welcome back for the second half here at Darcy Street. South Hobart leading Clarence 1-0 as we prepare for the second half, and a reminder of why they are in front. This moment of inspiration from the Warthog of Morton. He's been doing it all year. It is one of the best ones yet, and it finally broke the deadlock after a fairly dour first 45 minutes, it had to be said.
He's just about good enough for the A-League. The lid's off. That is an absolutely class finish.
Don't let him hear you say that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be hearing that. But he's having a fantastic year. He's the Warthog Morton, that midfield, so dynamic. And we're about to kick off here in the second half. Can't see any personnel changes from either side, so I think we're as they were for the time being. And South Hobart, we're kicking into the breeze this half. I actually think that's going to help them, because I think a lot of the time their balls over the top were just rolling away. I think holding up might actually help them a bit more in the second half. So I'm going to go the opposite to conventional wisdom here, and I think it might serve them a little bit better. Just too many balls rolling over the byline in that first half for them, and made life tough. But we'll see how Clarence deal with the wind at their back. Maybe they can play it a bit more direct onto the scone of big Billy Bremner up top there and make something happen. Bring those wingers, Stewart and Hayden, into the game as Ludford dwells on the ball and decides to lay it back for Dogger Brown. Just a crawl, a real snail's pace out of the sheds here from both these teams. But Stewart's now picked the pocket, and Floyd Furley's charging in on goal here. Jakey Stewart cuts inside. Probably need to pull the trigger the moment. Not done with yet though. Jinx back in. Works at Ludford, repels, and a massive opportunity missed there.
The threat that I was talking about, boys, but just lacking the composure there at the end, Jakey Stewart. Getting into a good spot, though. But now things have turned around, and it's Walter with the cross to the far post. Darcy Hall getting under it, but it's just petered out of play there. And will be a goal kick to Clarence United. But now that they're kicking with the wind, that threat will be on there with Jake Stewart with a beautiful interception off the back of Loic Farrell, who's given the ball away in a bad spot, but he just recovered in time to get that challenge in that was crucial there for Al. But nervous times there for South Hobart.
Didn't have too many of his teammates streaming forward there, did Jakey Stewart, but probably just need to try and hit that one with the laces on the right foot. As we see Voss aiming this one out towards the wing, only as far as Hall, who puts it out for a throw. And Price with the very loud boots throws that one in onto the head of Billy Bremner. And lumped clear from Ludford.
Oh, the grip from the top not working out well again for Jack Turner as South Hobart combine. They get it through Hamlet, but it's intercepted by Clarence. And really nice attempted ball there from Bremner to Stewart, but hacked away there from Dogger Brown. Nice quickly taken throw there from Jeremy Price as tries a few party tricks, Stewart, but Connor Schmidt more than equal to it. Horton gets on top of the ball and just lobs it up to DeMar, really, who gets up and under it and has a wild swing that peters out of play. And Albie gets his first touch. Beautiful to see. He's getting involved even from the pine. Ball gets thrown back into Darcy Hall. He turns, runs through a few, and that's a pretty ugly challenge, really, you have to say. But he just keeps running with the ball, Darcy Hall, and he's got an overlapping player with Walter. Gets his head up. Walter can't quite get the ball in behind. Well defended again by Lush.
As we say, Gorry, our fall on the ball, playing some nice 1-2s.
It was a clean touch.
Yeah, Albie is certainly the talk of the Slice of Cheese commentary box already. As Wilson
I love a target
it up.
man, boys. I just love a target man. Don't blame me.
I can tell as we see Dogger Brown eventually getting on. He gets scythed down afterwards. Surely that is the first piece of dairy for this afternoon.
He's
Late.
a steady dose of dairy in Billy Bremner's diet, it has to be said.
Yeah.
He certainly ticks off that food group.
Yeah. Not going to argue too much with that one, and it's the first one of the day, I think. So
I think he substitutes on that pyramid triangle. I think the bread and rice is dairy for Billy Bremner because that's not the best challenge.
all the more likely, I think, now to see what I had divined at half-time, boys. There could be the opportunity to shift Jake Stewart into that middle, get him running off the shoulder of those two experienced heads at the back for South Hobart.
Yeah.
But for now, they'll be attacking. And it's Ludford out wide to Schmidt, but they can't get any real kind of good pass onto that ball.
Unfortunately, our viewers were not treated to the Jake Morgan tactical masterclass we were at half-time. It was an absolute thing of beauty, but unfortunately, Coach Jabba hasn't bothered to inflict any of that as yet.
Yeah, I did once take Port Vale from League 2 to the Champions League, so I've got good raps on myself, lads.
Yeah, you got good credentials as we see Dogger Brown lump that high in the sky. Eventually comes down and Turner, now Morton, gets absolutely whacked into him from 3 inches away. Now nice bit of skill there from Flynn, but don't really do too much with it. And it falls out for a goal kick. Now I was more of a Yeovil Town man with my League 2 teams than Port Vale.
Not bad.
Mind a bit of the Glovers.
That was firmly on the Shrimpers, South East
Yeah,
United.
nice.
The old lower league promotion thing. As
Good
Bremner
obscure stuff,
doing
lads.
really well here, and Brown just accidentally holding up in air quotes, and
He
the referee
almost
not falling
deserves a
for it.
slice for that Dogger because they're clear in to create a chance there, and there was some pretty persistent fouling from the lad.
Yeah, in no way did he mean that accidentally. He's just planted both feet down and wasn't moving.
And he wasn't fooling anyone, so the free kick
Well,
will go.
except for the referee, because I dare say that's almost a cheese. Bit of a shirt tug in there.
Let him off the hook. Dogger Brown does 90 of them a game and seems to get away with them. So standard for Dogger, and a chance for Jez Price, who's a good exponent of the set piece. He swings one in and put the moz on him shockingly there, because that was pretty ordinary. Smashed away, and someone down there's got themselves a new football. It's gone over a roof into someone's yard. Decisively dealt with.
I was going to say a hefty clearance. I'm not sure if we'll see that one anytime
I love
soon.
one of these balls to turn up in my backyard too.
Yeah, true.
They're beautiful.
Should try and arrange that with Dogger Brown.
I reckon I could. The house isn't too far from here.
So the throw in. Finds Randall. It takes a little time to bring it under his spell. Now works it to Lush. Back now for Palmer, who's bustled there by the Mordog Morton and impacted the pass, and it spills out of play there for a South Hobart throw-in to be taken by Darcy Street's favourite ranger, Adam Gorry.
Oh, he's everyone's favourite ranger now, isn't he? Quality right back, this bloke. Just heaves the ball in to Dogger Brown, who goes to play the 1-2, but there's certainly a bit of feeling between those two coming into the game now, isn't there?
Absolutely. There's plenty of heat in that contest out there.
Been 4 fouls between the two of them in the last 3 minutes or so that's what I like to see, a bit of vitriol, a bit of vendetta from the lads out there.
Clearly
coming in to fly the flag.
Clearly the coach is giving him instructions to get up and at him, and certainly doing that as DeMar clears that one.
I don't reckon that's come from the coach. That's just Billy Bremner and Dogger Brown. That's just the two personalities and styles of those gentlemen.
Two absolute bulls out there doing battle.
Yeah. And good to see between those two. They won't take a backward step, either of those scrappy customers. Turner now up against his opposite number in Flynn. Worked forward by Loic Farrell, and a sloppy touch in the end by Lush, out of play, and gives South Hobart the throw in. It should be taken by Gorry. He's got Hamlet offering for him. Picked upon there by Lush though. Worked it to Naden, who looks to get up and run. We've not seen much of that. They've not had a lot of the ball, but they need Naden running at the defence. Hamlet works it in behind to Walsher. He's got a couple to pick out. Darcy Hall's one of them. He sets it. Turning onto the right and unleashes a shot that was well blocked by Jake Stewart.
I wanted the volley there from Darcy Hall. I called it early. You could see that ball was going to land to him, and I really wanted him to hit that first time, but he opted the turn, and he turned into 3 Clarence players.
Yeah, they just scrambled across to cover nicely, the defensive Clarence there. All going the higher percentage effort, I think, rather than trying the volley. But we're fully in favour of trying the spectacular up here.
Foul given on Turner as well, so another opportunity. Hopefully our wish of a back post volley for Darcy Hall can come to fruition from this set piece. Quite rare, a spectacular volley goal, but I'm all in favour of seeing one, as it looks like Gorry and Farrell TV are going to look over it, but Gorry tells him to get away.
Set up 2 last week, Adam Gorry, one of them from a free kick to an unmarked Jack Turner. Who can he pick out this time? He sends it in near side, and Voss all over that. And he'll gather and get Clarence restarted with a long kick, which Darcy Hall takes down. Led in Stewart though. Schmidt to Hall. Well done by Stewart, working back.
Probably a couple of fouls in there from Jakey Stewart, and rightly given by the referee there. But good to see him really getting in the face and pressuring the South Hobart lineup. Well kept in there by Connor Schmidt, you have to say, but only to the advantage of Stewart. Gets the ball into the middle, but Morton takes control of the ball once again, having another one of his usual all-action defensive and attacking displays, and that's a good little ball to Gorry from Feral TV. Gorry gets his head up and just keeps cutting on inside, but not a lot doing, so he goes back to Dogger Brown. And there's not a player in the half of South Hobart at the moment. They are really attacking here, and Darcy Hall's broken into the box. Well defended with the body by Jeremy Price, but he can't quite get the ball, and Damar bails him out. He gets his head up, but gives it away to Hamlet, and Hamlet skinned him here and got himself into trouble. That's a big whack from Jakey Stewart, and a pretty clear penalty, you have to say, because he swung his leg wildly there.
Yeah, question marks over the first penalty, none over that one. He's just clean whacked him, and no protest whatsoever from Stewart.
We just have another look at that again. Here's gone whack.
That I think in cricket is called the Windy Wolf. A very agricultural attempted challenge there from Jake Stewart, and he's given away a penalty, and I don't think Hamlet is going to stuff this one up, lads.
I reckon he'll opt for a bit more power this time than placement. Hammer time, Hamlet, and he'll be stepping up, eyeing a bit of redemption. So it's Hamlet versus Voss. He steps up and makes no mistake this time. 2-0 South Hobart. Hamlet on the scoreboard again.
Yep, and I like to see that South Hobart aren't changing up the penalty taker after missing one, because he is a quality penalty taker, and that was the first one I've ever seen him miss earlier on today, Ben Hamlet. So makes amends for that with quite a clinical and comfortable finish there. So 2-0 now for South Hobart, and perhaps Andrew Cooling was right going against the conventional wisdom, and it does seem to help them going into the breeze a little bit.
Yeah, potentially.
Showing my inexperience and foolishness.
Oh, I don't think quite foolishness, but indeed, Ben Hamlet, he took our advice of hitting it with a lot more pace than before, and it's not the greatest goal kick technique. And Hamlet marching back in to win that back. Clearly got his tail up after that goal. Now Hall.
Hungrier for that ball, weren't they, South? And the boots just come out there for Hamlet, and he won't be able to get involved in this attack. So we see Jack Turner streaming into the box, looking to continue that excellent run that he's been on. Now got the boot back working again, and Feral TV looks up. He's got Darcy Hall on the other side, but can't find him, and it's headed away by Clarence. But again, only as far as that South Hobart defence.
And Ludford now looks to play the diagonal ball to Hamlet. He's got Damar for company. Should keep this one in hammer time.
Oh.
Damar just goes sliding in. Both players, nice contest between the two. And now falls to Hall. He's going to hit the volley.
Quickly back to cover, and what a sliding challenge there from Damar, but he can't do everything. He's got to be supported by his team.
Yeah, we were talking before they need 2, 3, 4 of Damar's, and they certainly do. And unfortunately, Hamlet just puts that one.
It's a pretty shocking ball there from Benny Hamlet. He'll be getting better efforts on next time.
Yeah, good thing the net's there, otherwise we may have lost that one down towards the playground. So we'll see what Voss can do off this goal kick. I think that's going to stay in, and it does. Walter knocks it forward. Hamlet fighting for it, using his body well. Good challenge there. I think that's going to be a foul surely on O'Neill, and it is. So Hamlet just getting a little bit too excited there on the centre back. Haven't really, after that first shot in the first minute, haven't really seen Clarence get it down there.
That polar bear that I've pulled out of the Yowie was an omen, boys. It's gotten colder out here today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, probably more likely to be a penguin Antarctica, but it is certainly cold enough for a polar bear down here.
They'd be in their element, the Darcy Strait today. Very icy indeed. Perhaps not quite as cold as it was over at Warrior Park last night, mind you. It was the more
pretty shocking challenge in the back of Turner.
Watch this one to Darcy Hall, who's running in the box, and Demar was across to clear. On hand again, the big centre-back, who's been pretty good despite the constant pressure. He can't be faulted for the goals. No, he's done really well, Demar. He's kept them in it. Comfortably
been their best player on the pitch as Morton looks to manufacture another shot from distance. He gives it off to Turner.
Great save, Voss. Sprawling to his left, gets a big piece of it.
Perhaps just sneaking a little bit off target here. No, that is an incredible save. Really good work there from the Clarence United keeper. Keep his team in touch with perhaps managing to manufacture a miracle.
Yeah, potentially, but that's a great little rolling touch there from Morton. Bit of futsal skill going there to set up Turner, who really, I think, wants to score a goal today, keep his fantastic scoring record going. As Morton now plays a delightful ball in the direction of Gorry, but slightly overhit and will fall into the lap of Voss. As he'll probably look to send this one high and try and get as much distance as possible. And he certainly got the distance, and unfortunately everyone sat underneath it, and that's gone all the way back to his opposition number.
So Loic,
problem with the wind.
Plays it to Jack Turner. I'm sure we'll be very hungry for a goal to keep that streak going this afternoon. Don't expect passes from him in the final. What a versatile player as Ludford plays it down the line for Connor Schmidt. He's got a couple to pick out. Opts instead to go short to Hall, and Jess Price had a fistful of his shirt there, but allowed to play on. And
versatile calling.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit of tough about that one. Versatile, mate.
Oh, look, it's the world game, mate.
You're the kind of bloke who'd call a nectarine a nectarine.
Look, just to annoy you, I probably would, but probably would never contemplate buying a nectarine, Jake. As this one is swung in near post. Ludford tries a little back here, but that was ambitious, and it goes in the end for another corner. Perhaps fortunate to get another corner.
Very fortunate there. Pretty poor corner. Just kind of tucked away behind rather than going for the distance or giving up a throw instead, but they take it short this time to Morton and Hall, and they're going to be over the top of this one, and it could be going in here, but just a bit of chaos in the box, and Clarence managed to clear it finally. The big lumping clearance that really has to be worked on by Loic Farrell, and that's going to be a threat now for this South Hobart lineup for the rest of this game. Those heaved balls out the back, because I really think Clarence should be playing Route 1 football, and that'll be a slice of cheese there for the Morthog on Brenma. Because, geez, they were about to manufacture a chance out of that one, and it was a pretty cynical foul. If that is Granite Xhaka, the referees are going to send him off.
Oh, bitter Arsenal fan coming in. All ends up there. He was threatened for a 2v1 there, so while it is probably Morton's first foul of the day, probably
Xhaka
deserved dairy.
Very good slice of cheese to take, I reckon.
I think it's a very good one,
certainly. You don't want to be letting him back in as the ball is swung in, but only as far as the head of Turner, which the ball appears to have an animal attraction to. And he combines with Ludford and gets another ball up to Turner, who's going to hustle to keep it in. And they now have a...
Oh, Demar.
Oh, they were going to have a 4-on-1 until that magical challenge there from Demar. And he has been the best player on the pitch for Clarence United today. Things could be very ugly for them if he wasn't out there.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree with that hypothesis. As you see Gorry take the throw in quickly, ends up back with it, and now just playing it around with Walter out there, who ends up winning a throw. And Walter plays it back into Loic Farrell TV. Now Dogger Brown, who's straying into his own half, which is a rare thing for South Hobart this half, and that ball can't quite find hammer time. Manages to get that. Wind will actually keep that in play. So rather than ending up on Wellington Street, that's actually ended up still in the box.
We'll call that an audacious attempted chip, but I'll tell you what, if he doesn't work out as a striker for Hammer Time Hamlet, the NFL could be calling as a punter with height like that, because that was just a beautiful effort.
Yeah, good bit of hang time there. Probably not quite the distance those teams like, but
really good play here from Bremner to just charge through, but again, a lack of support around the ball.
Yeah, exactly, as we see.
Jeremy Price makes a run, and he's going to have a swing at it, and why not? Because it's set up pretty nicely for him. And geez, if that contact had just been 5 to 10 centimetres lower on the bounce, it could have just about swung into that top right corner, but just got a little bit too much under it there, Price. But geez, if you're going to get back into this game, you've got to try some stuff like this for Clarence United.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly got enough dip on it as Wilson launches that one into the air, but it'll fall nicely in the centre of the park. Dogger Brown will clear that header. Naden chasing after it with Gorry for company. Gorry will just shield that one out for a throw. He'll no doubt go back and try and reload. In the end, it goes thump clear. Hamlet tries to get underneath it.
He does a really good job of doing that, doesn't he, Hamlet? Just kind of backing into the centre-back that's about to win the header as if he's going to the ball, but the true intention is always to knock them off balance, and he does a very good job of doing it without giving away fouls, to just apply that pressure, because he's not the tallest bloke, and if you're having a centre-back absolutely dominate the balls that come in the air, you can really limit your attacking options, especially if they're accurate with it. So,
whilst you're an admirer of Hamlet's work, I know he's not your preferred target man, Morgs.
No. It's good work. If you don't have the height for it, you've got to at least create the contest, and he does a magnificent job of doing that.
That he does, as Nick the Mortog Morton gets on the ball and probably lays it back to Dogger Brown. Casually works it forward to Hamlet. South Hobart with the game well in their keeping at this stage. Not terribly fussed about moving it at any great tempo, as Demar, who has been one of the very best players on the pitch despite the scoreline, thumps this one long. Gorry nods into touch. It makes you wonder what Clarence might have done had Demar been fit all year. He's had such limited game time due to injuries, but he's really shown he's a special talent. He's one of the best players in the competition, and it's just really disappointing that we've only seen a few games from him this year.
If they had Lewis and Demar lining up at centre-back, that's a bloody solid pairing, you have to say. It'd be a very good pairing if they could be running with that for the entire year, just perhaps lacking a little bit of class in midfield.
I reckon,
Clarence United team.
Well, I reckon if they had Lewis there as well, we'd probably see Demar up top and John O'Neill playing that other centre-back role. That Lewis away for this game, and might be something we see down the stretch from Clarence as they try and claw back off the foot of the table. That he is, mate.
He's certainly versatile.
As Jack Turner gets on the ball and chips it over the top for Darcy Hall. Will this one hold up for him? He's out after it, and it won't quite sit for Hall, who does quite well in the end to prevent a goal kick. Cleverly done.
Always like to see 1%ers like that from players. And we've got a sub, and it's going to be Kobe Kemp coming on here, and it looks like Feral TV's day is over. He's heading back to the TV station.
Hang on, Morgsy.
Oh, and it's time. It's time, mates. They're changing things up. They're going the target man approach. Here comes big Albie Lazinski to hopefully thump in a few long-range efforts with that absolute hammer boot that he has. Changing off for Hammer Time. And with those changes, you have to say that Kenny Morton bringing in some real quality into this lineup.
I mean, they're handy subs to bring on, aren't they?
Oh, they'd start at any other club, and we all know it.
Yeah, we absolutely do, and that's nice flick on head up. Now in direction Albie for the first touch, potentially. He's got two to beat. Demar shielding him out. Nice bit of fronting up to each other there in the corner.
You might need to watch the ball there too, Jeremy Price, because he just took his eye off that one and just clumsily knocked it out for the throw, which for some reason Hugh Ludford is going to take.
The Kemp sub's
why not?
Kemp sub's a little weird one for me. If he's fit enough to be coming on, why isn't he starting? My question, if you want to give him a rest, why play him for 20 minutes? It's the long throw. He's in the Albie direction. Doesn't have the legs to reach it.
The imported Farrell, I suppose you can't have him sitting on the bench for the year, and you need to rotate. But it does seem strange when there's it's not like there's a big cup game coming up. You want to make sure that he's staying fit for. So interesting stuff from Kenny Morton, perhaps just a little bit of rotation, keeping the squad satisfied.
Yeah, I think you've probably got the nail on the head there. Just Surprised he not for maybe an Oscar Thomas or someone to give some minutes. But look, who can argue with the Silver Fox and the results he's delivering once again this year?
When you got quality on the bench like that, and you really need to make sure that everybody's satisfied if you're going to hang on to it, or you start losing players away.
Not sure if he meant that.
Got really,
then just cops one in the back, and finally a free kick
from Lushy. Real competitor, this bloke.
Absolutely, and certainly got one in the back from Walter there. Haven't seen too much of the Lush man this half. So
yeah, a bit isolated out there on that left-hand side.
Always seems to happen down the grandstand side here this game, which isn't too bad for us up here, but
absolute showboats this South Hobart lineup. They know where they want to play.
Yeah,
definitely that, and not the win factor at all, lads, as this one's worked forward in the Price direction. He's got Ludford to contend with. He's got a few to pick out in the box if he can find a way to deliver it in here. James Price looking to buy a little bit of room here, but he can't get around Ludford. Defended it superbly, the experienced head, and then O'Neill just worked Lazinski under the ball quite nicely there.
Disgusting foul.
Yeah, it might have looked that way with one eye shut, as this one's going to be chipped forward towards Darcy Hall. Nick Morton, and now a chance for South Hobart. They're breaking with numbers here. Darcy Hall, an option on the outside. He goes inside instead and then lofts it over the top, where Lazinski and Walter were both offside and both not getting to that ball anyway. Yeah. So a wasted moment there for South.
Just looking for Mr. in particular there, Nick Morton. Not really the best ball that he's played all day, because he had Darcy Hall overlapping on the left-hand side, but perhaps a little bit worried by the imposing figure of Demar, who has defended everything that's come his way today.
He almost had too much choice, much like when Jake Morgan walks past the chocolate aisle, just doesn't quite know which one to pick.
Oh, I know, mate, and I go the Owie every time.
Yeah, more like him at the Colonels, I reckon.
Yeah.
So many options, which he go for. And in the end, he went for the wrong one there, the Mortog, as Lazinski nods this one out of play. And it'll be a throw in Clarence as well. So a bit over 20 minutes with some added time added on to go here. And it's looking like it's going to be a South Hobart victory, which will put them 7 points clear on top, barring anything miraculous late on. Lazinski just flicked this one nicely for Walter, who kept it in well. He's charging in the box. He's got Jack Turner in there. He was looking to extend the streak, but it wouldn't suit.
Nearly. Ross coming out well to claim that one just in front of Turner, who
wasn't actually quite the best ball out there from Walter, you have to say. He hasn't had his best game here today.
That's a penalty. No, free kick just outside the box. And discussions going on there. The ball tried to throw away from Wilson. Big comedy capers there in the centre. The referee having a quick chat. We'll have a look. Off. And
that is a massive dive.
That is an absolute swan dive.
That is the biggest dive you will ever see.
And no foul given, right on the edge of the box. Haven't seen a dairy yet.
Oh,
I need to have another look at that replay. I've missed it. Oh, that was a beautiful flip.
Look, that's fair enough, I reckon. Here we go.
Here we go. So
look at this.
He stood his ground.
Give him a 10 for that one. Give him an absolute 10.
Get the scorecard out for that one.
That is a professional dive. And, you know, he could be going to the Commonwealth Games for that one. I tell you what, just extraordinary.
Gold Coast 2018, look out.
Yep.
Billy Bremner.
Get him in. Get him in.
He's going on here, stitch you
Bremner
up here,
on the 3-metre springboard from now on, I think, for Australia.
And Demar will step up and drive it home. A lovely hit from O'Dane Demar. It's 2-1 now. Clarence pulling back.
Get around him. He's played really well today, to be honest. And they utterly did not deserve that free kick. And he gives a little bit to them, and we like to see it. Why not?
Absolutely get a lot of the South Hobart crowd making a few dive gestures up here. And as we look at that free kick,
Demar just gives them a kiss and a wave.
He gives them a nice cuddle, and that is a nice shot to keep you warm at night. That's gone straight through a body. See a South Hobart players.
I love his performance, and I tell you what, I think I love his personality more after that one. That is some beautiful stuff from O'Dane Demar after a perfect 10 dive from Bremner.
Game is on. I think we're still quite taken by that dive, and Demar will clean this one up and lob it in that same direction, trying to get some wind, but Ludford will keep that one out.
Now, before the South Hobart fans go complaining too much, they had a penalty that blatantly wasn't a penalty. And that's an easier chance to convert than a free kick from outside the box. So, at the end of the day, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. Well done clearing that one up. Any one-eye bias from up here.
Yep, they do have a tendency to work themselves out, those kind of decisions. But worrying stuff now from South Hobart because it's been the Demar show for Clarence. He's been imperious at the back and come forward and slotted a driving free kick. So game on, and look at him. And
he's had about 4 touches as well since the goal. And in other news for Clarence, this wind has picked up even further. So maybe even further chance. Again, Morton now out of his seat, which he certainly hadn't left for the first 60 minutes of the match.
He's probably trying to stay warm now, I think, Kenny Morton. But
yeah,
probably to dish out a few blows at the...
Look, anyone who was at the game at Warrane last night will think this is tropical, I tell you. It was nice and frosty.
Yeah, at the Theatre of Nightmares.
Yeah, look, I gave a bit of a cheeky banter on Twitter to our former fixture manager here at FFT, and I think he deserved every slice of that. Shout out to Gilly.
And Demar is going to be looking to score here, I reckon. Just kind of floats it into nobody in particular, and Schmidt doesn't get a good contact on it, but he recovers well under a bit of pressure from Jakey Stewart, but finds the Morthog pretty comfortably. The ball will fall to the big target man, who clearly is handballed. And it's
He's handballed.
He's had his ball handballed, rather.
There's Price.
Yeah, disgraceful. You know, when you get an imposing player like that on, you can't be reverting to punching the ball away.
Yeah, or punching him or punching somewhere else of Albie, so we'll see what they can do from this free kick. As Luntford's looking forward in the direction of Morton and has actually just hit that one straight out of play. Kick for touch, you'd call that.
That's
Go for the 40-20.
Playing a bit of league here.
Well, suddenly it's an interesting last 15 minutes here for South Hobart to survive. They've gone from being comfortably on top, the game well in their possession, to suddenly just having to see out a dicey little period here at the end with a 2-1 lead. As Schmidt nods it down to Jack Turner. He's pressured by Burgess, full of energy, the substitute. Turner back to Schmidt. Didn't see anything he likes, so back he went. Price gets a head on it to prevent Morton being played in behind. South Hobart looking to get back on the offensive and find a third goal that would probably kill this one off. Oh, in a bit of space here is Darcy.
Yes.
He skips around Demar and centres it. And it was blocked off.
He had Albie. He was all by himself in the middle.
A very telling little touch. I think it was O'Neill who blocked it off.
Yeah, it was a crucial intervention, wasn't it?
And look at that one, soar on the wind.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the distance between Clarence's defensive line and attacking line, and they had no one within 60 metres of each other.
Somebody, I think Voss has to go the Tim Howard in this second half here today, because there's the wind that would be there to carry it for him.
Paul Robinson action as well, another keeper who scored a big one.
That for Blackburn, was it?
Spurs against... No. Oh, where was that Paul Robinson one? It's going to frustrate me now.
Getting too obscure. All right, you'll have to look that one up for us, Paul.
I am going to.
Dogger Brown gets onto it, and he gives it to Ludford, who didn't have too much on, but manages to find Darcy Hall. Schmidt gets his head up to play forwards to the Morthog, who takes a typically good touch. He sprays it out aside to Turner, and they're looking to get up this right-hand side now, South Hobart, as they go to Gorrie. He gets his head up, but it's given away to Naden, and they could be equalising here. And the afterburners are on in the middle. Naden goes himself, looks to Jakey Stewart, who just took a poor touch there, unfortunately.
Spurs v Watford is your answer.
I reckon that was just in behind Stewart there. It was inches in it.
Well, he's beating Aurelio Gomez then at that stage, wasn't he? So not too much on it.
Couldn't quite bring it under his spell, Jake Stewart. And a nervous moment at the back there for South Hobart. Nick Naden, we've not seen running at this defence too much today, but that's what he can do when he gets up ahead of steam. Kobe Kemp's just going to clear the area. Nearly takes out his own bench.
He wasn't too happy about being on the bench from the start, was he? He's just opted to try and cleave a few heads for that decision.
Actually chipped Ben Foster on that occasion.
Oh, there you go. A decent keeper.
Well, yeah. I think at that stage he was still a United reject, so probably not.
A lot of United rejects that end up becoming good players.
Yeah, Michael Keane going for a humongous transfer the other week and got rid of him for $1 million, so.
That's good business, Funty. Good business. I suppose it's pretty irrelevant when you're a club like United, though.
Exactly.
Money doesn't really seem to mean too much.
Not really. Not when we go and build other clubs' grandstands.
Look, that's just smart economics. Smart economics from those other clubs.
Yeah. We're not all glory hunters, Paul.
That is a stitch up.
Stewart looking to pressure Ludford there and just gave a nervous moment. Not sure he appreciated the short pass on that instance there. They get out of trouble though. Now
Great
Morton
ball.
with a switching pass that might play in Adam Gorry, but Voss was alert to it and just held up in the breeze.
Yeah, and I think he knew that it was going to hold up in the breeze, and I was questioning his decision to go for that ball, but it turned out to be a marvellous one from Voss, who just goes the hurly-burly up and under there. And why not when you've got a big breeze like that behind you, as Albie Lazinski takes a typically magnificent touch, but Gorry was running in the wrong direction for that pass. And DeMar gets onto the ball for Clarence and looks to play in Jake Stewart, but Ludford takes a comfortable touch and showing his experience there, gets it out to Connor Schmidt. Plays it up to Darcy Hall, who turns and runs like we see him do so much before the typically brilliant DeMara. Just defends that quite well as Jakey Stewart tries to get it in the top. Bremner, what will he get for his second one? Not opting to go the dive this time. The ball's just chipped out of play there by Dogger Brown.
Tell you what, if
he was in a beautiful spot to go for it too.
If DeMar isn't a cult hero in this league already, he is making himself one of those today. I am absolutely loving his
performance.
Been
an all-action performance.
I love that. He did defend that well, and he let Darcy Hill know all about how well he defended that play. He got right up in the grill and said, yeah, how'd you like that? Trying to get around me, Darcy. Very nice work.
I don't even need wing-backs, he says.
He's a smooth operator, Tamar, and good to see him out there as the throw-in goes in the Naden direction, but Turner's on hand to clear the air. It'll come right back at them through O'Neill, though. Punched it to Price, jinked it over the top of Schmidt. He's going to run out of room here, and Ludford just lets it roll behind as we tick towards 80 minutes.
Yeah, still nervous times for South Hobart because Clarence have grown into it, especially since that ludicrous penalty was given, rather free kick. So we see Albie win a header as he does. The big target man gets up before Darcy Hall comes under a lot of pressure. And the ball's won away, but only as far as Schmidt. And Clarence win the throw, and the fans are really getting stuck into that linesman now. You can tell they're getting nervous. Bremner gets onto the ball and tries to play it to Naden, but wasn't that fantastic from Gorry?
Yeah,
you're right back, just getting back into the perfect spot every single time.
And he does.
Marvellous work, Adam Gorry.
And he does. As Naden now chips the ball forward. Tries to lay it back. Back post is Bremner coming in, but Wilson just gets there in time. Billy Bremner trying to make another impact on this game. And hands in the air from the South Hobart bench. The Puffer Jacket crew are not happy down there.
Rockabye Bear, mate.
Not quite. That's another foul given, so DeMar rushes to get this one, and he'll love to put this one in the mix-up. Potentially even chip the keeper from Oscar Thomas territory.
So it's going to be Jess Price standing over it. I reckon 10 minutes to go, I'd be pulling the trigger and getting DeMar up top.
Absolutely.
He's been imperious in defence, but he can get you a goal. Got to roll the dice.
If they do that, I'm not having it.
Got to roll the dice, Morgs.
Bremner's got to dive again, and they've got to win another free kick.
Anyway,
that's what I want.
It's Walter now surging back the other way, and he just loses his footing there and skews that one out of play. And suddenly the Clarence is just sensing a chance that maybe they can claim something from this game. They've got another sub in the offing here.
There'll be a few Strikers fans who'll be urging them on right now just to hope that they can keep touch with them.
It would certainly be a great result for those up at Devonport, but still a fair bit of time to go as Price launches it forward. Off to the centre bucks. Nice bit of skill. Get around there, long ball forward, right to the face. Stewart, who now looks back post, running in, but the spin.
Took a great touch off his neck there, Jakey Stewart, to be fair to him. As Gorry gets his head down and starts running, what an incredibly fit player, you have to say.
Oh, yes,
and
absolutely. He can do it all.
Kicked away there by O'Neill, who's also had a pretty decent game at the back, who has been under some pretty incredible pressure and hasn't always had midfield pairing that has kept that distance very short between the centre-back pairing.
There is now a sub.
We're going to see it, and it's going to be Jakey Stewart, and for all my talk about shifting him to striker, he has been brought off and replaced.
Romolo Moynihan.
Moynihan.
We've got that, do we?
Yeah, it'll do.
Moynihan, well, can he be the hero as he's come on here and make something happen for his side? They've got to survive a South Hobart attack here first, and Turner turning on the ball, broken up by Burgess. Whacked away by Lush. It's going to come back out the Nog as he played it straight to the Warthog. He spies Gorry in space, so he heads out that way. Gorry with Lush for company, turns back onto his left. Patient stuff, this from South Hobart. Now Alex Walter in the middle of the park. He might sense the chance for a shot. His drive was blocked by DeMar. Coming through though.
Handball there, but a pretty natural position, and Clarence will get the break. They look to swing it out wide, but typically brilliant there from Dogger Brown to get the ball down to Kemp. And they play it into Lazinski, who's got Turner in all kinds of space. He's got 2 on in the middle. Lazinski, but the ball's just hit too far for him. He gets his head up. He's got a couple in the box. Goes unselfishly to Hall. Hall turns and shoots. But another beautiful challenge. Was it DeMar? I don't know.
Of course
I was
it was
just
DeMar.
watching the player on the ball.
It was DeMar. It couldn't be anyone else. A lovely slide challenge, and Morton eventually brought down.
Yeah, just collected a little bit there, and we'll have a look at that ball. Yeah, tip. Oh, that's just marvellous there from O'Dane DeMar.
What a player.
What do you reckon? It literally could be about 5-1 without that bloke on the pitch, or even more.
Absolutely.
Perhaps 5-0. You got the goal too.
Yeah, true. Actually, let's not forget that.
He has been utterly imperious, DeMar, and such a difference maker for this side. And I reckon,
I don't care if they lose. He's still getting 3 votes.
I agree. And whilst they're on the bottom, he's the type of man who could carry them from that spot.
Great
Kemp
ball.
chips into Turner. Oh, I thought for a moment the streak was going to be extended to 8.
And so did Dogger Brown, I think, because he just couldn't quite get a decent touch in there, just expecting Turner to make the net bulge, but yeah, he couldn't sort his feet out. It'll be another throw there, and Voss is a terrible goal kick just there, straight to Walter, who combines with Lazinski, and Lazinski just uses his strength so well, but DeMar O'Dane just nicks it out from him the second he showed him even a glimpse of that ball.
Yeah.
Now Ludford gets his head up, and he opts to go out wide to Lazinski, who takes a good touch. He's got Price for company, uses his strength very well, and earns the throw for his corner.
Yeah, well done there from
Earns
Albie.
the throw for his corner. He earns his throw for the team, I say.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Walter back to Schmidt. DeMar in there, couldn't stop
Offside.
it now, Walter.
I think he
With an
was.
offside
And yep, the
position.
flag is up.
Yep. Very good call there. So pressure relieved on Clarence. They got 5 minutes here to try and get the ball forward. Notice this match, Voss has very much stayed on his line, not want to sort of playing a sweeper keeper role. He's certainly staying back.
Yeah, you kind of have to when your team's defending in the box for most of the games.
Well,
There's
true.
not really
Just
much of an
I
opportunity
was
to
more
get off
meaning a
your line.
situation like this, but anyway.
Oh, I've stitched you up there, Funty. You
You-
know far more about the game than me.
Oh.
As we see Lazinski get the ball out wide, attempting to find Darcy Hall, and he's got Gorry, who is just tirelessly working on that right-hand side. But as is Nick Naden, who made a good fist of that one and just forced him to run it out as Turner frustratedly belts the ball over the top.
Yeah, still working hard at him, Gorry, the fittest man in the league, I reckon. He just storms up and down on that right-hand flank all game long.
Well, I'd be done after about 7 or 8 minutes, to be honest, and this bloke just goes up and down for 90 minutes. If I could have a look at his beep test score, he'd be well into the double digits, I dare say.
I reckon so. It'd be a good 14 or 15, I think.
15. Whoa.
Yeah, wouldn't put it past me.
Yeah, I was near vomiting by the time you got to 6 at school.
Yeah, I think I got to 11 once and then packed it in. That's about it. There's enough for this.
Quality effort, Paul.
Oh, well, you know, occasionally I could run, but
What are you doing up here?
Oh, being absolutely crippled as we now go back to live play. So I'll blame the injuries, not the lack of obvious talent, as Bryce now will clean that one up. Lumps it forward in direction again, but Ludford expertly headers that one out to his defensive partner Brown. Now Gorry. And a few tired legs out there from Clarence. There's not too much tracking
3
back.
in the box.
And
But I
gets
bet
down the
DeMar's
byline.
gonna get it.
Albie's free, 4 at the back stick. Walter is just not quite Peter Crouch there at the back post, and between Price and Romolo will clear it only as far as the Mordhog looks up, has a shot, and DeMar puts his very, very good backside to good use there. Knocks it out for a corner.
He makes the block, and as soon as Morton got this ball, he had one thought on his mind. He had 3 men in the box, and they were not going to get this one. He's gone whack.
Selfish.
Straight at DeMar.
Oh.
That is a wonderful clearance.
It's a fine booty.
Just sticks out the tush and makes the
Very
block.
fine booty there Damar O'Dane, and what doesn't this bloke have in his locker?
Morton's just shielding the corner here. I think it took a moment to realise they'd actually taken it as they tried to kill a little bit of time, and now Clarence can break. They've only got Nick Naden forwards here though, so they're going to have to build. Bremner shielding and lost it to Turner. Price wins it back. In comes Randall, won it for his side well, but then Turner, I thought fouled him, but got the ball. Here's Walter. Little dink into the back of Kemp. Price clears the area.
Wind reaching a crescendo as the game does too, and we see Darcy Hall and Naden come together, a bit of pushing and shoving, and he gets the ball to Turner, who just dinks it over the top, but composed there from Henry Lush out on that left-hand side. And he's needed to be at times today because, particularly with the switching of Walter and Hall, he's come under significant threat.
We've just seen a dairy there given out to, I think it was Flynn, number 14. Yeah, so
Wallaby Flynn.
Billy getting stuck in like Flynn there, so getting a slice of dairy for his trouble, and that's a throw-in that got a bit too much loop on it.
And they're off.
And they are off. Bremner.
Got the substitute on the far side if they can find him. He's in acres of space, and Connor Schmidt hasn't quite picked him up yet.
And they're eventually trying to get it out there. Price
just too tired to get on the ball in the centre of the park there. And it's a beautiful ball to Darcy Hall. He's got Albie. He goes himself. It's a goal. South Hobart win, and South Hobart will be going 7 points clear at the top of the table. Showing their class there, lads.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a wonderful counter-attacking play there. Darcy Hall had the one-on-one.
Furious about the selfishness of Hall there, though, when he had Big Albie for the tap-in. But
yeah, absolutely.
You've got to back yourself, I suppose, and what an incredible ball it is through. It takes a good touch.
Yeah,
just rounds the keeper a little bit, and then a composed finish.
You're advocating the FIFA goal method there to Albie.
I'm advocating the FIFA goal there, despite what is really brilliant play. I've got my favourites, and I'm not backing away from it.
Yeah, we know certainly where you stand. No doubt about that, as that's a nice kick-off routine. Out to Naden.
Always most dangerous to be scored against just after you've scored, as Naden jinks up the sideline, but he's under a lot of pressure there from Turner, who is presumably hoping that they can manufacture just one more opportunity for him here.
Surprised he hasn't put himself up top to get that chance, but it is a team sport after all, as Naden just miscontrols it, and now the break is on again. It's effectively Albie versus Hall here. There's two streaming forward, and that's a wonderful challenge from Damar.
Oh, he tried.
Ruining Morks' day.
So that's a brilliant challenge from Damar. Lazinski's in if he gets
turned on him.
Here.
He's not having any votes from me anymore, Damar.
You're an absolute turncoat, Morks.
Another strong example of why he should be getting the 3 votes there, Damar, with another very good block to prevent a goal scoring chance.
I think Lazinski's got a big shout for best on today.
As this one's worked to Torn, I'm just going to ignore that. Jack Turner turns onto the left and fires it just past the post.
Oh, and it was a good opportunity. Maybe his chance to just keep that record in touch. Unfortunately for Jack Turner, he can't quite convert that one.
I'm surprised you're not advocating he passed it to Albie there, as Voss looks to take this goal kick. Not sure how much stoppage time will be played today.
Yeah, don't imagine that there'd be too much more. We've had a penalty in this half.
True.
Had a goal in this half. There's been a couple of substitutions, so we might maybe just see 2 or 3 minutes of injury time here.
Certainly deflated Clarence's momentum there. They've gone a bit flat. That's a nice
bit
back
of a
heel.
hush has come over the crowd here too at Darcy Street.
Tell you what, that's a lovely touch.
Just waiting for that final whistle, as a good header is played on the inside there, but nobody from Clarence can get on the end of it. Bremner continues to pressure Wilson, who just whacks it up in the air, and that ball's going to start coming back towards him before it hits the ground. They get it over the top to Walter, who plays it out wide to Schmidt, and Schmidt has Turner. Turner's going to want to get on the end of this one, but the typically composed and brilliant Damar O'Dane has just a yellow there for Damar O'Dane, and you know, frankly, he's deserved something to eat at the end of this fantastic effort from him. So he's earned his slice of cheese, and it'll be a free kick to South Hobart. And there's only one thing that they'll be going for here, and it'll be going to put it on the header of Turner or Albie Lazinski, and they're taking up their positions at that far post.
I think Jack Turner will be chomping at the bit
here. Oh, he'll be hungry. He'll be hungry.
Kobe Kemp. Probably the one you'd expect to
kill
this one in. He sends it in near post to that man, Turner! I don't I don't know if he got a touch. He's not celebrating. I think that might be Kemp's goal, in fact.
Oh, he gives it to Damar as well. Gives him a nice shirt front, especially with the referee not looking.
I don't know if he got a touch on that.
I think he should be claiming it.
No, he's got it.
He's got it claiming
for Jack Turner. Just the faintest of touches on it.
Let's have a look. I don't think he touches this. He's gone with an air swing, I reckon. He goes there.
Ah, he's touched it.
Someone's touched it. Whether it's Morton or Turner.
No, it's Turner. We think that Turner's perhaps got the final touch on that one, but that is one that we'll have to check after the game to see if that streak keeps
Tell
going.
you what, the Juby's goals panel.
Juby's goal panel all over that one. Monday morning will be all over that one. Turner may have extended the streak to 8. I'm not sure. He didn't really celebrate it, which is unlike Jack Turner, so that remains a mystery. The final score does not, though. 4-1 South Hobart. A convincing win for them. They have, they've got Ash's seal.
The producer's given it to the Turner.
He wants to give it to Jack Turner. Anyway, it's ended 4-1 here. South
we're all
Hobart
giving
now.
it to Jack Turner.
South Hobart 7 points clear on top of the table. And they're going to take some serious beating now. That could well be all she wrote in the title race. It's going to take
I should have brought the wrapping paper, boys. The wrapping paper can almost come out now for South Hobart because they look to have wrapped up the title. And geez, just having another look at that very soft penalty. So just a reminder to all South fans listening that we better take that one with a grain of salt after that horrible dive we saw from Bremner later on.
That was the penalty miss, in fact, from Hamlet. Good save from Boston.
A little bit of divine intervention, I think, there. A little bit from the Almighty to offer a bit of justice for the Clarence United team. But look at this extraordinary goal.
Highlighted the game, that from Morton.
We remember seeing him score a bicycle kick in a similar spot, but that is just 3 beautiful flicks and a quite extraordinary finish there from the Morthog.
Absolutely, and then the penalty that was converted from Hammer Time Hamlet, always on the score sheet, very consistent performer. Quite pumped to get redemption on that one. And that made it South Hobart in
2-0.
front, 2-0. And then just add a bit of spice to the game, Clarence. Go and score the next one through certainly their best player.
And here it is.
It's
a 10. It's a 10. He's off to the Commonwealth Games, the young lad. Beautiful stuff.
One of the more interesting interpretations of a foul there. And Damar just saw a little gap.
Beautiful finish there from Damar, who, geez, he still almost was the best player on the pitch despite playing at centre-back in a 4-1 defeat. They have missed him, and look at the celebration. He gives a few kisses to the crowd there, lets them know how much he loved that one. Shows off a little bit of the rig. Beautiful stuff from Damar O'Dane Damar, rather.
And then the sealer, Marcy Hall, one-on-one with the keeper. Clarence pushing bodies up.
Halby there for the tap-in, opts to go himself.
Selfish play there from Hall, but probably deserves it after getting a good shift today. And then right at the death, with probably the last kick of the game. A very contested goal. We've given it to Turner. But
we'll just opt to go with the huddle for a little bit to see what they're getting on about. But here it is, this goal, which we've given to Turner. Could very well be a goal from either Kobe Kemp or Nick Morton there, but...
Oh, Ash.
Oh!
The full-time graphic is stitched up a treat. I'm sceptical as to whether he got a touch on that.
He got it.
I've never known him not to celebrate a goal.
Here we go, graphic gone. A great ball whipped in from Kemp. Almost picked out there, and then there's 2 in the box. It's Turner.
It's going to be frame by frame, isn't it?
He's had an air swing there.
Yeah, he's touched it. He has touched it.
There's another touch.
But there could be another touch, which would be offside. I dare say.
There's the Morthog.
It's the Morthog. I dare say that could be offside because...
Well, it wasn't.
The final touch from... If Turner takes a touch there, then technically that is offside.
If you can see that call from 45 yards away with 10 people in front.
It would be an incredibly difficult call to get right live, and I wouldn't expect any linesman to get it. But if Turner's taken the touch there first, then that may be an offside goal, but... That is beyond all of that because it was a 4-1 victory, so it matters not. And it's a huge 4-1 victory for South Hobart because they are 7 points clear at the top of the table. Absolute disaster here for the Devonport Strikers and yesterday for them too. So big result for South.
And that is all we've got from Darcy Street on a day where South Hobart may well have secured the league title for 2017. We'll be back next week with more action. Until then, it's bye for now.